When working with absolute value problems, you, you really need to keep in perspective the idea of what absolute value is. So absolute value means distance. You and distance is always a positive value. So distance from zero specifically. So if this says, hey, there is this thing right here that's 86 spaces away from zero. So, well, 86 spaces could be here, or 86 spaces could be here. We're not sure which, but this right here is 86, and this is 86. So each of those have a distance or an absolute value of 86. It's just that the result is you could end up here or here. So this is how you go about solving them, what you have to keep in mind. So remember, because of that number line, and there are two possibilities when you're talking about distance from zero, how to solve these is you remove the absolute value bars. And when we do that, so we have negative 10k plus 6 is equal to 86. Well, that matches up with this 86, but we also have negative 10k plus 6, and it's equal to this negative 86 because this is also 86 spaces away. And then you go ahead and solve. So the first thing that you're going to do is add negative 6 or subtract 6 from both sides. So we'll do that. And you could actually do them at the same time if that helps at all. So then those cancel, leaving negative 10k. Negative 86 plus negative 6 is negative 92. Here we'll cancel those out, negative 10k. I'm doing them both at the same time. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. 86 subtract 6 is positive 80. All right, now, final step, we're going to divide both sides by negative 10. Divide both sides by negative 10. And we now have k is equal to 9.2. And k is equal to negative 8. So either negative 8 makes this true, or positive 9.2 makes this absolute value equation true. Okay, let's look at another one. Notice we have a negative sign over here. Normally, if you've got an absolute value and it's equal, and there's nothing on the outside of the absolute value bars, there's a bunch of stuff inside, but nothing on the outside, and it's equal to a negative value, say negative 6, right away, that would be no solution. Because remember, the absolute value means distance from zero. Distance is always a positive amount. So you wouldn't, as long as the absolute value bars don't have anything attached, and it's equal to a negative value, it would be a no solution. But let's look at what this problem is. Well, we do have a negative sign, but look at what we have over here attached by multiplication. So before we can even get to the absolute value, the first thing you're going to do is the inverse of multiplication, which is division, or multiplying by the reciprocal. Those cancel, and then you've got an absolute value that's equal to positive 2. So you're going to remove, and you've got this stuff on the inside. You're going to remove the absolute value, and this side, 0, this side is going to equal negative 2. So 10 subtract 8a is equal to negative 2. And over here, you'd have 10 subtract 8a is equal to positive 2, and then you'd go ahead and just solve. But that's it to solving absolute value. Remember, here's another tip. If you've got absolute value and you've got a negative, say, value under here, let's change that to negative 8. And over here, we have a positive value, say 10. Well, remember, before we can get to before we can even get to this, we're going to have to cancel this dividing negative 8. Well, to cancel the dividing, you'd multiply negative 8 times negative 8, and now you'd have an absolute value equal to negative 80. No solution. So be really careful when you're solving these. As soon as you get it down to absolute value is equal to something, if that something is negative, your answer right away will be no solution. All right, that's it for absolute value.